Greetings, fellows. Sonic Show Jaden here, and it's been literally a fortnight since you've seen me. However, today, I have a big banana bunch of Sonic news to cover, mostly pertaining to stories coming from the new rapid fire of leaks that Midori has been in her corner blasting off, which, if you're new and for some reason don't know who that is, Midori is our favorite multi-time confirmed Sega and Atlas leaker, and she's yet to get a story wrong. So basically, the Nega Zippo. And she just laid out a ton of 2024 and 2025's upcoming Sonic releases, as well as some exciting first details of a new remake coming, plus the first glimpse of news about the next mainline Sonic game, which she includes in her report that it's been in development for a while now. So although Frontiers was in 2022, which was about 2 years ago, it seems we're about to start hearing news of the next mainline game officially. And this next game isn't going to be on a 5-year cycle, which, to be fair, the distance between Forces to Frontiers was pretty unprecedented. And as Frontiers was a step in the right direction, I am extremely thirsty to see how many more steps Sonic Team has taken since then, especially with Kishimoto very explicitly saying he wants to try a no-boost adventure-styled game for his next title, aka this one. Midori also blessed us with a bunch of Sonic X Shadow Generations info, as well as a shadow drop that is coming surprisingly soon, although the initial announcement did say autumn, so I guess it's not that surprising. Plus, I also have a bunch of new exclusive news on Sonic Rumble, formerly Sonic Toys Party, when, you know, I revealed it. So a huge Sonic news conky to blow over all your faces, and no sponsor today. So quick fast, before your Zoomer ADHD attention span wears away, subscribe to God's chosen source of Sonic news. And yes, the Pope has officially endorsed me with that title, so it's not blasphemous. Also, double check your subs, because YouTube randomly unsubs sometimes. I know I've said it before, but it just keeps happening. And also drop a like, because I think it maybe helps. I don't know. I mean, why not? Now, let's get straight into Midori's information, as I'm just the host of the video. She's the real star of this news. And even from the stories that don't have her involved, she still chimes in, so this is the Midori special. Christmas, Easter, Passover special. No, this is the Midori special. Now, this isn't the first story, but I'd be amiss and a trashier trash panda than I already am if I didn't first tell everyone that Sonic Rumble already closed applications to their official open alpha, and while only some will be selected to participate, the email everyone just received about applications specifically says, do not share the download URL in this selection notification email with any third party. So guys, seriously, if you get invited to the open alpha, don't send any of your friends a DM with the download links, because then we would be able to play it without getting accepted, and that would be so messed up. Downright catastrophic even. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into a game announcement. So in a response days later to a post by Midori announcing the confirmation of Sonic Rumble, a user asks her, holy frick, another confirm? Does that mean Virtual Fighter is soon? Or Chow Garden? To which Midori responds, the current plan is to announce Virtual Fighter 6 before the end of the fiscal year, which is great news for fans of the franchise, as that's been long dormant and it wasn't announced by Sega alongside the other Super games, some of which we will also be seeing very soon, but that's later for the video. Next, we get an update on some future plans in Sonic X Shadow Generations, and a pretty long series of posts. But overall, something that's clear is Midori's insider must be very connected to Sega's upper management, and not just one IP or brand of their division, as she also details their plans writing, the current plan at Sega is to make Like a Dragon, Persona, and Sonic annual franchises through new titles, remakes, and remasters, DLC expansions, and other media. I think this is unannounced information, which, for clarification, she responds to a user who writes, annual as in all of them releasing once a year? Or annual as in alternating between the three? To which she responds, there will be new content for each IP every year, as well as even more good news about these titles, as they aren't quite going down the same path as the 2000s, where they pushed out a ton of Sonic games, which infamously came with a lot of low-quality titles. And this news comes from a response to a user who writes, can you say whether quality control is going to be a priority for the annual release strategy? To cause Midori to respond, quality management is a main priority for the main Sega Group IPs, which, let's be real with you guys, you mostly want to know how this applies to the Sonic. And you're in luck, as Midori writes, the new Sonic pillar is a team formed of Sega staff from all major regions. Sega staff from multiple regions are now more directly involved in the development of Sonic titles. This is unannounced information, which I actually find pretty interesting. So basically, specifically Sega of Japan, Europe, and America, more if there are any countries, I can't really think of any, are all working together to release multiple titles every single year, with the very minimum being one a year, but likely more than that. We haven't gotten one a year since the very sad year of Sonic in 2020, where all we got was Sonic at the Olympic Games. Now, one of the most interesting aspects of this news comes from a reply to Midori, which reads, "Does other media involve collaborations with other games or crossovers?" To which Midori writes back, "Yes. And there are early plans for main pillar IPs to have collaborations in upcoming Sega Games as a Service titles, including Crazy Taxi." Meaning, Sega is doing exactly what I theorized in a video I made on this a while back. You can go watch it. I think it aged well. I'm not bluffing. Which, the news of collaborations is cool. I'm not really surprised. I mean, it is a Games as a Service title. They do have to make money. But what excites me the most is, as Midori has confirmed multiple times, including even recently, but both Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio will be getting these live service multiplayer titles, but will also be receiving full-on single-player remakes from the ground up, which honestly, in my opinion, is the best of both worlds. Now, let's get into Sonic X Shadow Generations, baby. Why did I say baby? You're not my girlfriend. You're just audience. Like Toby Turner. So one thing Midori tweeted out just hours before me recording this right now is she confirmed some very interesting information about Sonic X Shadow Generations, which then turns into news about the next mainline title? Yeah. So in a response to a user who writes, "Do you know anything about Sonic X Shadow Generations, or since when did it start to be developed?" To which Midori answers her first of two responses, the first one reading, "I think it's almost 2 years ago, but development is complete now, and Sega is moving on to different projects." And a surprised random user writes, wait, Sega finished the game? With enough time that the team is moving on to other projects before launch? Did Sega get their act together? To which Midori confirms and adds on, "It is normal for most games to be completed before their release date. Marketing is an important part of game development. When a release date is decided at the company already knows the progress of the game and finds a good period to release the game in." Which, for anyone who's interested in games industry news,
like my autistic eye,
this shouldn't be any surprise. It's not very common games are worked on right until release. Maybe bug fixes and technical issues, but not proper game development. However, what she's saying means this game is literally finished, done, complete 100%. And on that, just now, she responded to something that not only confirms the previous news, but gives me a ton of hope for this project with her response to a user who writes, "Hey Midori, in regards to Sonic X Shadow Generations finishing development, more specifically, is the game finished and content complete with Sonic team moving on to other projects? Or is it still being debugged and polished at this stage? Thanks." And Midori responds, "It's in QA, debugging, mastering, and marketing process right now. But Sega is currently working on multiple Sonic projects right now. Frontiers was in development along with Superstars and Origins." Which, Jade in translation here, that means it's the end. So not only are we going to see this title very soon, as spoiler alert, it's May, and autumn is right around the corner. But with the adventure-styled game Kishimoto wants to make, already seemingly in production as we speak, since Sonic Team's B team is working on this, overall, very much excites me. And with how close all these releases are, it doesn't really surprise me in the slightest that they were all worked on at the same time, just in different and various stages of their production. Now, where this gets interesting is with all the Steam assets having all been uploaded on the back end and being visible through SteamDB, as well as the only release date info being autumn of 2024, we might just be looking at a shadow drop, or maybe a 1 to 2 months max notice. And with this title being, Sonic X Shadow Generations, a shadow drop would be really on theme for them. And more Sonic X Shadow information, but a quick aside from Midori's leaks, which we'll get back into after. However, I want to quickly touch on this icon for Sonic X Shadow Generations that Sega pushed live and we received via SteamDB, as I know, before anyone starts to ride on my lap, I understand this is just a small icon and isn't a big deal, but at the same time, man, holy shit, is this lazy. It's just the Sonic Generations render, but they threw shadow in there, which, yes, is inherently a little lazy on its own, but overall fine. However, the big problem, at least in me and everyone else's opinion, is shadow is giant here. And I'm not talking about the grocery store chain. So some intern likely was tasked to separate the classic and modern Sonic and just add a PNG of shadow right between them. And I know, it's not a big deal. It's just like a little icon. But man, is it ugly. And hopefully this doesn't reflect the actual cover of the game, but I guess we'll wait and see. Sega generally, keyword generally, doesn't mess up on box art, so this would be a surprising twist if it's actually bad. Now, I want to quickly touch on Sonic Team's involvement in these future titles, something Midori goes a bit into, as this is kind of exciting information. I know, I've said everything is exciting, but I can't help it. This is my first time uploading in 2 weeks because I'm actually excited, and hopefully you can tell that from the video and the editing. However, Sonic Rumble is not the end of these titles, as we're not in the 2000s, there's no Game Boy, there's no DS, there's nothing for them to release portable titles on other than mobile. And trust me, I don't like it either. I would rather just have DS games and a little portable in my pocket. But some good news out of this is it turns out Sonic Team themselves is putting a huge emphasis on involvement and co-developing to just primarily developing these titles all themselves. And this piece of news comes from Sonic Stadium, who posted that Sonic Rumble was the first title to be developed and managed by the collaboration of Sega and Rovio. But Sonic Stadium also added the follow-up that Midori responds to with, FYI, this game was in development long before the Rovio acquisition. So this doesn't necessarily mean Rovio aided in development, though it might be possible that Rovio was aiding Sega in some capacity before the acquisition, but this is just speculation. To which Midori chimed into Sonic Stadium and responded, this title is developed by Division 4 with supervision by Sonic Team staff through Sonic Pillar, but Beacon was used during the later stages of development after Rovio was acquired. And this is kinda mixed news, because I guarantee most of you aren't aware of what Beacon even is, and what it being in Sonic Rumble implies. So, to quickly explain, it's Rovio's system that simplifies and streamlines a lot of the more intricate and technical parts of the game-making process, as well as the monetary process. In fact, it's not clear, but it seems to be mostly focused around that. So, Rovio in their statement says, Beacon is a powerful technology suite that supports Rovio games throughout their entire life cycle, including tools that allow game teams to easily develop and bring their games to market, profitably grow games through user acquisition, keep players engaged, and live operate games, monetize with in-app purchases and ads, and ensure safe gaming experience. And the end kinda gives you a more clear understanding of what this is. It's to help push updates and purchases live to a game, which helps properly monetize it, something that I know nobody wants. But just like ads on a YouTube video, is what's necessary to allow games like these to be free? I mean, name another streaming platform that's free. Crackle? Ain't nobody watching that. And for mobile games, being free is something that's necessary in the current climate if they want to compete and succeed in the app market.
Try to exist in the landscape today.
No, Beacon is restricted to being entirely internal, so nobody is aware exactly how the system works, and everyone who is NDA'd and hasn't spoken about it. So everything we know about it is just from what Rovio has said in its press releases. Now, personally, having played Angry Birds Friends recently to level up to get to the Sonic collab, I was mind blown how the entire time I played, which was quite a lot, the only ad I saw was an ad I had agreed to see and opted in to click for an extra spin on the daily wheel. That's it. Everything else I was able to accomplish for free very easily. Plus, I literally saw one ad in my multiple hours of playing. And I'm saying that because I think it's important to note how pleasantly surprising and non-aggressive they've monetized that game. And with them hosting Beacon and being kind of in charge of the monetization, I'm hoping for something similar with Sonic Rumble, where you can have your experience enhanced by ads, but it's not crucial to the game, or at worst, you just see one when you lose. Something that doesn't bother me too much since the game's already over. Now, moving on from Beacon and onto the last piece regarding Sonic Rumble as a whole, we got a video fly-through of a couple levels, and while I'm not gonna lie, I am very excited for this game. It looks like Fall Guys, but funner and faster. This level overview isn't really doing much for me, but for some reason, the entire community community is acting like this saved the game. Likely as an excuse so when it comes out, they can, like Frontiers, go, "See, I was only negative at first despite nothing changing, but now that it's out, I actually love it, haha." In the process, making me feel crazy as these levels look exactly the same as when we first saw them. Like literally, outside the user interface, there have been next to zero changes to the appearance of this game. You guys who are turning on it and just now saying it looks good and were shitting on it before, you're traitors, you're treason, and we will hang you. Also, it's worth mentioning, I did get into the Sonic Rumble beta. I got an email about it last night, and while I think part of the NDA is I'm not allowed to record gameplay and show it on YouTube, I will make a video giving my impressions, everything I think, as I'm unironically quite excited for this game. And I know
mobile games bad. I hate mobile games.
But as phones just keep getting better and better, to the point where my phone is more powerful than most consoles were in the 2000s, I don't mind. I definitely will be playing the game, and while I hope it does get a port to PC if it's successful, I'm not that bothered by the prospect of mobile gaming. With that, join my Discord. There's this one user that's always talking, and I need to get more people in there, okay? I'm in there. I'm always in there, so why don't you guys want to talk to me in there, okay? If you guys want to reach out to me and talk to me, that's the place to do it. Don't bother on like sending me message requests on social media, okay? I'm not going to answer them, but I will answer if you ping me in the Discord. And you know, also drop a like, double check your subs. Subbing's the most important. That's so you see my videos.
And my number gets bigger.
And that's all. Give grandma a kiss on the cheek. Lots of love and peace. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.